Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Adults Don't Exist. If you saw the title, then you know exactly why you're here. Today, we're going to be talking about stability and how any instability can lead you down this path and have you asking yourself these questions like, what did I do to deserve this? Why is it that my life is spiraling down in this way? We're going to talk about it. Because y'all know I love to bring up lessons and things that I learned in my childhood, but I also like to offer my perception as an adult because things have changed. Life happened to me and gave me a whole new perception on everything. And stability was one of those huge things. And it's so funny because I just spent a lot of time in my journal talking about stability. And not only that, the daily devotional that I opened today was talking about it as well. So, as we dive into it, I'm curious to see if your perception of stability as a child was the same. And if it was, I wonder if it has changed for you the way it has changed for me. And if it hasn't, maybe this will offer you something new to think about, a new way of handling things. And as we do that, let's go ahead and start off with what stability means. So, as a kid, stability pointed to everything in a household. Like, the way that I heard it phrased was, do you have a stable household? Meaning, do you have somewhere to stay? Can you lay your head there? Can you eat there? Can you turn on the lights at all times of the day? Like, is your lights on and working? Does your water run? This was having a stable household, somewhere where you were decently safe, where you could just live practically. That's what it meant for me. But I realized that it's something totally different, or stability encompasses so much more than that. And before I dive into that specifically, I'm going to paint this picture for you. I am sure that anybody listening to this right now, you have had the opportunity to use one of the programs in Microsoft Office. So, Microsoft Office includes a lot of things such as Excel, PowerPoint, Word, OneNote, Outlook. Those are just some that come off the top of my head. I'm sure there's a few more than that, but those are all of the programs that are in the office. So, what do they all have in common? I literally just said it, but think about it. What do Excel, PowerPoint, Word, OneNote, Outlook all have in common? Microsoft, right? So, what does that have to do with stability? Stability and Microsoft are like the same thing, like the same umbrella. They apply to different things. They take partnership with different areas of your life for different reasons. Meaning, stability is not just that one thing. It is not just being able to live practically and have somewhere to stay. So, when I was in my journal, it's it's kind of crazy how I broke this down because I never really thought about it like this in depth. But stability, the way that I explained it to you and the way that I learned it as a child, as far as having somewhere to stay, can you eat there? Can you turn on the lights? Do you have running water? What does all of that point to? The financial stability. That is that umbrella. That is that program. In the area of finances, you are stable. But you may be financially stable, but are you emotionally, spiritually, and mentally stable? Is that for real? Like, ask yourself that question. You have it financially, but are you stable in these other areas of your life? If not, are you really stable? And if you look up the definition of stable, there's different definitions, but they really all say the same thing. It's just applying to different areas of life. Kind of like I said, it takes partnership in different areas. So, boom. If you're talking about of an object or a structure, stability means not likely to give way or overturn. It is firmly fixed. If you're talking about of a person, stability means to be sane and sensible, not easily upset or disturbed. Another one is not likely to change or fail, being firmly established. So even like in regards to your relationships, do you have a stable relationship? Is it likely to change or is it likely to fail? All right? And then the other one that I wrote down was not liable to undergo chemical decomposition, radioactive decay, or other physical change. And that was pretty much referring to like, how can you withstand after you go through some type of crazy surgery or something like that? Are you going to be stable? Now, even though I'm not talking about any surgery, there's things that happen to us that is just as big and just as impactful as a surgery, and how we hold up points to our stability. So, again, back to what I said. If your money situation were to change right now, unexpectedly, how stable would you be? I really want you to think about that question. Seriously. Because 9 times out of 10, someone's financial instability will have a significant impact on them mentally and emotionally. Because it's like your whole life about to change. Now you questioning everything. How many times have you like got hit with an unexpected charge, or maybe you lost a job or something like that? What did that do to you? Did you really ever see yourself kind of spiraling, or being in a sense of worry, not feeling stable, not feeling like you have any control over your life because your money was funny? Looking at yourself this way is not taken away from anything that you've been able to build or accomplish, but it is meant to show you that maybe you're not strong where you need to be strong. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing to say. That's not a bad thing to think about, because as humans, we are constantly needing to be refined. And if you keep that in mind, like if you think about this as being a refining process, your mindset will change. Your level of stability will fluctuate in your life, mentally, emotionally, and financially, but you will be able to withstand those times more effectively if you start seeking stability spiritually. Anytime your life changes, it is not calling for you to scramble or for you to feel out of control or incomplete. It is calling you closer to God. And this is why this is happening to you. It is not about things you deserving for this to happen to you, or God wanting to punish you. When we go through stuff, I feel like we seeing that as God punishing us, and He's not punishing us. He's calling us or giving us an opportunity to draw closer to Him. You don't want to go through that. You don't necessarily want that to be the case, but that is the case. It's like, all right, boom, your money gone. What you about to do? What's the first thing you're about to do soon as you are depleted of your money or your job situation is no longer stable? Your first instinct is to probably freak out, because you don't know what you're going to do. You don't have a backup plan. You are going to spend all day and night worrying, probably crying, stressing out, calling people, trying to figure out if you get some type of help. That's your number one instinct. Have you ever stopped and been like, God, what am I going to do? Let's talk about it. Like, I am calling on you. I am inviting you into my life to help me figure this out, because life as I know it is going to be different. But I know that I don't have it within me to withstand this. Like, the fact that this happened and this made me so emotional. I can't see anything. I can't hear nothing else. Like, I can't even pay attention to nobody. I clearly am not strong enough. But you are strong enough. You are strong enough to carry me through this season of my life. And not only are you strong enough to do that, you are able to restore me from the things that I have lost. This is about learning, growing with God, and becoming strong in any circumstance, because that is our main purpose in life. And that's where I think we get confused, is because in order for us to live, we have to have some type of financial stability. We have to have some way of getting money. That becomes main priority for us, and we lose sight of why we're here. What is it that God wants us to do? That should always been a main thought, right? We get so disconnected from God, and we focus on what society needs us to do. And I'm not blaming you. I'm not shaming you for that, because that is the way that the world is set up. But our focus has changed, and God allows things to happen to us so we could get centered again. We can come back to where we need to be, because we so focused on this 3D world and what this world has to offer us when we have enough money to show up, that we forget what true currency is. We forget what true support is and what true stability is. You find stability in the Lord. You find currency in the Lord. And if you want to hear anybody say it, it could be me, because I have a crazy story, and one thing about me, I love to take risk, right? If you've been listening to me for a while, I end up leaving my six-figure job where I made the most money that I ever made, and my stability changed financially as a whole. I'm good, I'm alive or whatever, but nothing is the same for me. However, all this time where I learned to stop freaking out and I start leaning on God and I'm praying on God and just hoping I hear the voice of God and just really seeking Him with my whole heart, because I know good and well I don't know what to do and I can't do it myself. He has kept me like close, and I haven't had to worry about a thing. Am I telling you that my life is peaches and cream? No. But what I'm telling you is there was not a day that I had to wonder how I was going to eat. I still got a roof over my head. I am being provided for in ways that I cannot explain to you how I'm being provided for, but I've been kept this entire time. Now, is this me telling you, go out here, quit your job, do what I did? No. This has been a walk with me and God. I'm not telling you to do what I did, but I'm telling you to get closer to God now, even when your stability is good, because He is going to keep you up when you go through these different phases of your life. And remember, as it's happening, it's not just happening for you to be punished. It's not happening for no reason. You're not meant to stay the same. I'm glad that you have that stability. I want you to be able to maintain some stability so you don't have to worry about what you're going to eat. But the fact that you were so dependent on your money to be able to provide that for you in the first place tells you where you are with God, because God has never let His people go without. Ever. And if you ever wonder, if you still over here like, well, if I ain't got money, I can't pay for nothing, but you're questioning how God is going to provide for you. You wondering if God can do it. You might even be slightly doubting, because it's like, I still need tangible money. I get you, but you're still missing my point when I'm telling you that God is always going to make sure that you are taken care of. You don't know how. You don't know how you're going to get it. You might be too prideful, whether if God has somebody come bring it to you or whatever, but God has a way for you. And even before I took this journey to find myself outside of work, because I was so tied to work, not only was I was financially stable, but I didn't really know who I was outside of my work accomplishments. Like, there were other things that I had to learn. But before I took that path and that journey, I remember when I was traveling back home to Ohio, I was going back to visit my parents, but I was in an Uber on my way to wherever. I can't remember if I was getting a rental car, if I was going to the airport or whatever, but this Uber driver, I had no intentions on talking to him. I wanted to go on about my day. I love to get in an Uber, put my little AirPod in, and mind my business, okay? But he was talking to me, and I didn't think that it was coincidental that he wanted to talk to me. Um, in so many words, he kind of asked me about my faith and if I believed in God and stuff. And he started telling me about different issues that he had in his life and how things had changed. He went from making sure that he had to take care of just him and his wife. But then, they grew a family, so now they got kids. But not only that, something happened to one of their parents to where now he's taking care of everybody. And something happened to where he needed $5,000. It was an insane amount of money that he knew he just didn't have to give. He didn't even know if he can go out there and get it within the next week or so. It seemed like he just wasn't going to have it. But he let me know that his faith and his relationship with God, it showed and proved who God was, because he ended up finding that money. He got that money now. He got it. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it came to him almost like by surprise. By surprise, like it was an opportunity he wasn't expecting, a giver he wasn't expecting, but he knew for a fact that only God can do it, because he was in a position where he was not able. He was not stable enough to withstand that type of request. Or, like, let's say, not even necessarily a request, but you might feel like, okay, I got my money together, I could pay my bills. But if something was to happen, like if you own a house, a furnace went out, your car went down, can you withstand those type of things? He wasn't stable enough to withstand that type of hit, but God was, and God carried him through, and I never forgot that. And in my season of being unemployed and dabbling and trying things, going to different jobs just to see if I would like it or not, God showed me what type of stability, that spiritual stability, provided, and how he was making people show up for me. If I was in need, here comes somebody to give me something. And I never been a taker. I never liked to receive things from people, but God still found a way to provide for me. And I felt like, if anything, that was just him taking care of his child, but it was also a reward for me going to him and being honest about what I needed, how I was feeling, but inviting him into my life and inviting him to solve my problems. Not looking at him, being mad at him because this is happening to me, but just understanding that this is what life is for me now. My financial stability has fluctuated and I can't pick myself up. I don't know how to pick myself up emotionally and mentally because I am drowning in the fact that I don't know what's going to happen to me tomorrow. But he let me know that I didn't have to. I didn't have to. And there is no recipe or what I could tell you to do specifically to get stronger in this area, to feel more confident, or how to reach God. You just have to talk to him and you have to seek him with your whole heart. Like, God, I know you know the answer. I want to come to you. You are my father. Like, be genuine in your pursuit, but be like, go full force with it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no super church goer or nothing like that, but I know that I could find God in church. So being able to show up when I can show up, even if I'm just going online, trying to seek God and listening to sermons, if I got time in my spare time, getting in the word myself and really trying to study it myself, because it's one thing to listen to another person, but it's a totally different thing to actually seek God for yourself and like get the understanding that he is trying to show you, and he's going to specifically talk about the parts of stability that you need to understand. He's going to connect with you in that way versus you listening to me or you listening to somebody else who might be giving a sermon. And while those are good and these people have some knowledge and maybe have studied the word in a particular type of way, God is working with you on the things that he needs to work with you on. The way that he's doing with me is totally different. What I'm focused on for myself is different from you, and the way that he's going to teach it to you is best. You know what I'm saying? So you have to communicate with him. Let him know he knows what you need, but he needs you to invite him. So invite him. Talk to him specifically the way that you would talk to a friend. This is what I have going on. In order for a friend to help you, you have to tell them what you need help with. And that is how you need to see God, and that's how he's going to help you iron out the places that you are not stable. He is going to help you get there. This is not something that you deserve, but this is a exercise that is going to refine you and make you stronger, make you show up in your next season with the Lord better than you were before. Okay? I feel like I said a mouthful, and I feel like I even rambled past what I put in my journal, but stability, it partners with every single phase of your life. So if you feel like something happened and you spiraling down, that's showing you that you're not stable where you need to be stable. And even if you are getting close to God and you feel like you have a good relationship, this just shows you an opportunity to strengthen that relationship. But you don't deserve this. This is not happening to you for no reason. This is a call for you to get closer to God while you are here on this earth. Before we transition, this is for you to just unlock things that you haven't unlocked, that peace that you haven't really found yet. And I think I found a certain level of peace within myself, within my situation, but with God and that relationship when I went through the toughest time in my life and my finances were no longer what they used to be. So yeah, I mean, take a step back for yourself and just revisit that question that I asked you. Because again, I'm giving you my perception. If your money situation were to change right now, how stable would you be? How would you react? And that'll tell you everywhere you need to go.